Stone spires tower above a field of writhing vines. You see a dark, twisted forest across the field. Look at them. You recall when you escaped the Labyrinth, the choke vines weren't much of a problem. Then, it was winter and the season drove the vines into a type of hibernation. They couldn't move in the cold. Now that the weather is warmer, they thrive and force you to deal with them in order to cross. Squirming, writhing vines cover the distance between here and the forest. There's no way to get there without trudging through the sea of choked vines. Let's throw something at it. You hurl the zinger into the mass of twisting vines. They snatch it out of the air and carry it off to the nearest spire. Predictably, lightning strikes the spire, but instead of destroying the sergeant artifact, the energy is totally absorbed by the zinger. It charges itself with the power of lightning. Countless stone spires project from the field of vines. The line of them extends east and west as far as you see. Too many of them are lashed to the remains of previous victims of the field. Periodically, lightning strikes each spire in turn, starting to get to the east and moving steadily westward until the bolts are out of sight. So they're pretty much like lightning rods. Well, we happen to have a cold spell. The cold spell floats over the sea of twisting vines. It expands and drops over the field like a blanket. As it does, you see frost form. The vines begin to move more and more slowly until they are torpid, completely still. Let's go on. Back over the field of choke vines you've recently crossed, you see the last gate of the Labyrinth, once a very welcome sight. This clearing is a well-used campsite. 3 tigermen sit around a fire pit, nursing minor wounds. You stumble out of the brush only to come face to face with 3 wounded tiger creatures. Unfortunately, what you know of the Labyrinth tells you that the only thing more dangerous than a tiger creature is a wounded one. They stare at you in surprise, then let out a growl and tense to leap. You don't have time to do much but run. Yep. Back over the field of choke vines you've recently crossed, you see the last gate of the Labyrinth, once a very welcome sight. You hear the tigermen crashing through the underbrush behind you. They're close on your trail. The tiger creatures hesitate when they come to the field, but after observing your safe crossing, they charge in after you. When you pause to look back, they're already about halfway across. Now that they see you, they start sprinting. You don't think that you can run any further without them overtaking you. Alright. Let's warm these bad boys up. The frost disappears as the heat spell takes hold. At first the plants move sluggishly, but as the torpidity subsides, they resume their normal activity. The tiger creatures are caught in the middle of the field when the vines reawaken. The plants wrap around their struggling prey and drag them off to separate spires. With wild eyes, the tiger creatures watch lightning strike a spire only a few hundred yards to the west. It then strikes the next closest spire and proceeds to work its way down the line. Soon the lightning blasts the 2 closest spires. The stench of cooking tiger meat reaches you even here. Ah, so they're totally dead. Well, we're gonna freeze them again. And we're gonna take the zinger. You high step through the tangle of choke vines, recover the zinger from the spire, and return to your vantage point. Aha, and it's active. Cool. Alright, let's keep going. What's around here? Skull? Well, we can take it. This is the tiger creature's burial cave. Paintings on the wall depict their gods, and bones are strewn on the floor. So I'm going to take that. The crude cave painting depicts a dark god over the tiger creatures, presumably death, chasing after its tiny feline followers and shooting bolts of lightning. It is clothed in a black robe which shows only a skull-like head. It is an interesting insight into the Tigerman religion. It's also very interesting that we can put these things together. You slip the tiger creature skull over the central prong on the electric zinger. We have a black robe. You slip the robe over the electric zinger. Looks kind of like that, don't it? Alright, let's keep going. You stand on the outskirts of a village in the throes of battle. A pack of tigermen circle a group of patrons huddled under a magic shield. Well, let's activate the zinger. You pull the switch attached to the electric zinger. The contraption flies out of your hands, twisting and turning in the air, accompanied by its screeching metallic whine. The black robe flops back and forth, and lightning flies from the eyes of the mounted skull. All the combatants stare up at the apparition. The tiger creatures point and hiss at the flying sideshow, and then scatter in random directions, pure terror in their eyes. When the zinger's power drains, it drops out of sight somewhere in the forest. The shield around the huddled villagers finally falls. Methodically, they begin to scatter through the village, locating and tending to the wounded. One man, seriously injured, lies in front of you. The headman of the village, who valiantly supported the magic shield for so long, approaches the wounded man and summons a healer. A nervous, young-looking woman rushes over, nearly dropping her package of healing herbs and implements. She surveys the horrible wounds sustained by the fallen patron and gasps. But a stern look from the headman prods her into her routine. She tries to clean and dress the wounds, but they are too severe. You can tell she is inexperienced, and that this case is too much for her. Well, it's not too much for us, because we have this magical salve. Because of the severity of the man's wounds, you end up emptying the crock of healing salve over his chest. You can see the gashes close up in the space of a few heartbeats. The healer gasps, but the headman nods. He looks at you with newfound respect. The healer is shocked, but she doesn't let this amazement development slow her down. Quickly she packs away all of her tools and moves on to help other injured villagers. In her haste, she drops a cord, presumably used to stitch wounds. The headman stays on to direct the healthy patrons in packing up the village. It appears that he plans to quit this site soon. Let's take the cord, and that tracker could be useful. You healed me, brought me back from the brink of death. I am indebted to you. I hear you. It's nothing. It was everything. I am in your debt. I don't like being in someone's debt. Tell me how I can repay you. I hear you, good tracker. I know the Labyrinth. I know its signs. I can sense how it changes, sometimes even how it will change. If I find the start of a trail, I will never lose my way. I guess I could teach your healers a thing or two. Oh, they do what they can. I thought that no one could heal the wounds I had taken. You surprised me. I couldn't do much for your wardrobe, though. Clothes are closed. I think my next jacket will be made out of tiger skin. Do you think you could help me? Of course, I am in your debt. Tell me what I must do to absolve myself of it. I'm on the trail of Lord Xar and his companion, who happens to be a shape-shifting dragon. Do you think you can find them? Of course, that's what I do. I will accompany you while I track them. When I'm certain that you found them, my obligation to you is resolved. I must return to my village.